in your ability to do equations. And then we need to take it to today. And for this week, basically, we're going to take a step back and see what we remember and what we're good at, and get ready for Friday's test. So we have a thing called surgical intervention today, and what we're going to try to do is realize what it is that's giving you a hard time and address that. And then we're going to go another one of these tomorrow, and then we will go pre-test Wednesday, pre-test Thursday, test Friday. So that's pretty much our schedule for the week. Along the way, we're going to have a series of quizzes this week. We started today. We'll have 2 more days. And then next week, we have one last series of quizzes. The last test you're going to take is this Friday. This Friday's test, there will be no relearn packet for, but there is a relearn packet for the last test. And the test that you take this Friday will have, I would say, 70% of that test will be like your last test. And then there'll be some word problems added. So if you can do the last test, you're in a really good position to do well on this test, okay? So without any further ado, let's get started on these quizzes. Like I said, you are doing better. We had a whole lot of people get number 1 right. But then we also saw some people who didn't quite do it up to standard. So the very first question says the following. 7 times n minus 5 equals 2 times n plus 5. Now, what's the name of the property that we use to do this? Ishi? Distributive. What does that word distribute mean in the English language? Derek, pick it up. What does it mean? Chris? Do you remember either of the stories I said about distributing that I always think of?
Yeah, sharing.
Pizza.
Sharing gifts, right? Christmas time. Pizza's another good one, but I didn't share that one, Rich.
Division.
What's that?
Well, like it represents like division.
No, it actually represents multiplication.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
But the 2 stories I talked about were
Handing out papers.
during the Great Depression with the soup kitchens, and the people would walk down Main Street because they didn't have any money for dinner or any money for food, and people literally lived in tents down by Shorefront. And the people would go down Main Street. They had no, they didn't have a stove, they didn't have food, they didn't have anything. And they would go down Main Street, and there were soup kitchens, and they would walk through just like you do in the cafeteria every day, and they would just scoop some soup into a bowl for them and give them some bread, just so they had something to eat, so they wouldn't starve to death. That was very, very common. By the way, I fear that we might be headed in that direction again, because at this point in time, our country owes about $20 trillion in debt, and you can't sustain that kind of debt. It's Obama and Bush. It's not just one of them. And you cannot sustain that kind of debt. You know I don't like Obama, and I do not like Bush, but the country cannot sustain that kind of debt for much longer before we start going bankrupt. And when the country goes bankrupt, then things like the Great Depression hit. And when the Great Depression hit, literally, people were lining up on Main Street. It would be a line of people. And they would go to a soup kitchen, and they would go in, and that's how they ate. If it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for the people distributing to everyone something to eat, people would have starved. And the other example on the opposite extreme is Christmas time, and people distributing or giving out Christmas presents. And somebody over here mentioned pizza, and that's another really good example too. I know with the teams that I coach, we usually have a pizza party at the end of the year, and I buy a whole bunch of pizzas, and then we distribute it to each person on the team. We give it out. Well, the big problem I see here is I see some people not draw the little hoops. Just about everybody wrote 7N. Almost, I would say 80+% of you did 7 times negative 5, and knew to write minus 35. But some people right here, they wrote minus 5. Take a look at your paper. Take a look right now at your paper and see, hey, did I write minus 35 or did I write minus 5? Because if you wrote minus 5, then you forgot to distribute. Now, equals, and on this side, if I draw my little hoops again, 2 times n is 2n, and then you have to do 2 times 5. And again, some people put 5. It should not be 5. What should it be? 10. Good. Now, is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation?
Opposite.
Opposite. So I'm going to go minus 2n, because I always start with the smaller ends. Minus 2n, die. 5n minus 35 equals 10. What's my next step? Chris, sit up right. Go ahead, Rich.
You add 35%.
Both sides. Always say both sides. So I get 5n equals 45. Then I divide by 5. N equals 9. So that is the first quiz question. And take a look at your paper now. I'm just going to pause. I'm going to shut up for 15 seconds. In that 15 seconds, I want you to find where you might have made a mistake on your paper. Go ahead. Okay. Now, I like,
That was like 9.
when I do my own schoolwork, I like to find my mistake and write myself a little bit of a note. So when I study tonight, preparing for tomorrow's quiz, I know what to make sure I don't repeat. So I'm going to wait another 10 seconds and let you write yourself a note if you need to on this question. While you do that, I'm going to prepare the next question. You'll see.
Good. Ow!
Okay. So now,
5 seconds.
I take a look at this problem. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side? Rach, let's put all the markers away. Get our concentration going here. Is this same side or opposite side? Spencer? Same side, sure.
Opposite.
So if I do 4x minus 2x, what do I get? Hey, psst. 4x minus 2x, everybody.
2x,
Plus another x.
3x.
Now, here, that, virtually everybody had that on their paper. It looked really, really good. Here's the problem. What's a negative 2 and a negative 3?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. A lot of people had negative 1. When I say a lot, I mean probably like 6 or 7 of you probably had negative 1. All right? So 3x minus 5 equals 22. If you were able to get the negative 5 out of that guy, pretty much everybody who got that right got the question right. Plus 5, plus 5. 3x equals 27. Divided by 3. Again, x equals 9.
I can't believe they got those two right.
Okay, so 9 and 9, purely coincidence that they worked out to the same answer.
Is it really?
Oh, you win?
The next one. How many people got 95 on that test grade? 1, 2 people. All right, both of them just didn't answer the question. And there were a number of people who had 90s as well. So let's go through the next one. I don't have the room to write it all out, so just listen carefully. It says that we have a rectangle. As soon as we have a rectangle, we want to draw a picture. Anytime they talk about a shape, we want to draw the shape so that I can see it better. Then it says that on this rectangle, there's a length. Rachel, come on, head in the game. There's a length and there's a width, okay? And it says something about the length compared to the width. What does it say? Come on, what's it say? Read your papers. Denise?
The length is 7 more than the width.
That's right. So I don't know what the width is. I'm going to let that be W. The length is 7 more than the width. How do I write an expression for 7 more than the width? Angela? W plus 7. Good.
Wait, so that's what?
Slow down. Now, a number of people, listen, a number of people were doing things beautifully. They set this all up. They're doing great. And then they decided to add those two sides and get the perimeter of 50. That's a mistake, because there's not 2 sides. How many sides are there? 4 sides. Rachel Whitneben, I keep looking up and I keep seeing you fixing your sweater or drawing a design or doing anything but paying attention to this particular problem. You're better than that. Let's go. Now, I have perimeter means add not 2 sides, but add all the sides. So I want to add up all of these guys and get 50. So I do W plus 7 plus W plus 7 equals 50. Now, this is one side, another side, another side, another side. That's all four sides. But what I saw a lot of people do on their paper was this, and I actually like this more. They went like this. They went 1W, 2W, 3W, 4W. And then they did 7 and 7 or 14. And then they went right up here and they got to the next step, which is 1W, 2W, 3W, 4W, 7 and 7 or 14. See, it becomes the same side situation. But they took the time and they wrote that, and it looked really, really good. So where do we go from here? Well, this is a normal looking equation. So we minus 14, we minus 14. Die. 4W is 36, divide by 4. W is 9. And at this point, people are saying, booyah! I got it! I got it! I got it right! I got it right! Ooh, yeah, yeah! I can do a word problem. Ooh, that math ain't no problem for me. No way. But you're not done. Nope. The width is 9. That's great. What are the last few words of the word problem? Find the dimensions. Dimensions means length and width.
Let's find the
Not only do you have to have 9,
find the dimensions.
gotta have 16. So if you had 9 and 16, then you would have had a cookie. Yes?
You're kidding me.
No, not in the least. Okay, so you know what your mistakes were? Study up for tomorrow. I think you'll be in good shape. Here's the deal. If you can get all 3 of these questions correct, you're in really nice shape for the test this week. Okay. Now, let's go to the next phase. Ready? Listen, hold it. Time out. Derek, you need to pick your head up. Derek, you are a young man in the prime of life. Ain't that the truth?
Stabbed myself.
Ain't that the truth? Aren't you a young man? You're not a woman, are you?
Yeah.
There you go. So you're a young man. You're in the prime of life. You're a 14-year-old young man.
I'm about to
Full of energy. Full of testosterone.
What's that?
The thing that makes you a boy. Full of vim and vigor and lots of everything. And you are putting your head down on that bed. Listen, how many people here are tired?
You don't
Me,
need to
this
stop.
kid-
I am tired. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure this out because we got an extra hour of sleep this weekend. Yes, you did. The clocks fall behind. That means we got an extra hour of
That
sleep.
doesn't
Oh yeah, I was up to like 2 in the
Now,
morning.
that
and
does
then-
not mean everybody used it wisely,
Exactly.
okay? However, what I can tell you is that if you are putting your head down on this desk, Marka, if you are doing anything of the sort, if a young stud like you in the prime of life needs to hold your head up on your wrist, there is a problem. What it means is that you can't concentrate. Because I am a really smart guy, and if you let me put my head down
Yeah,
like
I'm
this
gonna
and start doing this, I don't hear a word. I am on my way to La La Land. It ain't gonna happen. So you gotta force yourself up and into this lesson. Force yourself to learn what's going on. So, with that in mind, hey, let's take a look.
He just
He's like, what?
skipped you.
Let's take a look at what would be a very, I think, the easiest of word problems on your test coming up Friday. Goes like this, ready? 5 less than twice the number is 9, find the number. Who wants to find a piece of this that they can start translating into algebra? Stephen, how do I write 5 less than twice the number? No. Max? Yeah, 2x minus 5. Listen, see this phrase here? Stephen, I want you to look at this. This is very important. Does your family go to church?
What?
Okay. Now, in church, there's this particular scripture that says that the last shall be first. All right? The last shall be first. And that line was actually taken by Bruce Springsteen.
What?
And it's true. It was put into a song called The Ghost of Tom Joad. Great song. And does anybody here like fancy guitar
He
playing?
is such a
Can you
fan.
put it on?
Does anybody like fancy guitar playing? If I get time one day, I will. If you ever heard of this guy named Tom Morello, he is the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine, also known as the Night Watchman. Well, he idolizes Springsteen, and he often plays in Springsteen's band. And he made up the guitar solos for The Ghost of Tom Joad. and they're unbelievable. I didn't know you could make a guitar. He makes a guitar sound. You know when? Hey, you know when you make a guitar sound? Or you know when you make a rap record like the DJs would play, and they go like, spin the record back and forth. He makes the guitar do that, and then he makes the guitar sound like police sirens that are coming in. It's unbelievable what he does with that particular. He's incredible. He's beyond incredible. So anyway, the song that goes to Tom Joad is this picture of the future. And in the words of the song, it says, "Welcome to the New World Order." At one point, it talks about all of this depressing stuff, kind of like the Great Depression, predicting it might come back again, 20 trillion in debt, that kind of deal. And then he says,
We going down.
we're waiting on the day when the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So every time I think of the phrase "less than," I always think of that part of the song. Waiting on the day when the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So less than reminds me of that. The last shall be what?
Last.
First, and the first shall be last.
We need to-
So whenever you see more than or less than, Chris, fix that. Whenever you see more than or less than, you have to switch order. Very important. And then it says, so I can cross that out. Then it says is 9. What's my next step here?
You.
Add 5 to both sides, good. Die, 2x is 14. Then divide by 2. X is 7. Okay? So that's the first part. Is there any problem with that? Anything I can explain to you guys?
No.
The most common mistake here is that people do exactly what Steven said, 5 minus 2x. It has to be what Max said, 2x minus 5. By the way, do you know what Springsteen's drummer's name is? Mighty Max Weinberg. Mighty Max. Did you ever see the old Conan O'Brien's Late Show on TV? He
Yes.
also drummed for Conan O'Brien in that show. All right. Next, one number is 3. All right, stop!
More than.
One number is 3 more than 4 times what?
Another number.
Another number. So how many numbers do I have in this problem?
2.
2. Ready? First hashtag, second hashtag. You know, speaking about YOLO, which in my ultimate coolness I know means you only live once.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Now, knowing this YOLO thing, you only live once. Did you know? You ever hear this thing called the Pythagorean theorem?
I've heard about it.
The Pythagorean theorem. You never heard of that?
No.
All right, look, we got like A, B, C, and it's A squared plus B squared is C squared. All right, we'll cover it later in the year. That was made back in the days of the Greeks. And it was made by this guy named Pythagoras, and he had literally a cult. And
So cool.
the Pythagoreans is what they were known as. And they thought that there were 3 things in life worth pursuing.
Love, happiness, and success.
Love would be one of them, members of the opposite sex. So if you were a boy, you were to pursue women. If you were women, you were to pursue men. They thought that was one thing that was important in life. They thought, perished the thought, they thought drinking wine was important in life. So they liked to drink their wine. And they thought math was important in life. And they used to sit around. So in the minds of the Pythagoreans, there was love, there was wine, and there was math. Now I'm thinking that's going to make like a great bumper sticker. You ever see that, like Eat, Pray, Love, or whatever that is? Well, we got to go like love, math, wine. Something like that. Rich.
But that doesn't make any sense. Like, they think the most important things in life, but what about food, though?
Oh, I tend to think when they were drinking the wine, they were popping the cheese. So I tend to think they were doing that. Carmen, quickly. Excuse me a second. Quiet. Thank you.
The things it sounds like eat, sleep, breathe, repeat, that's like that.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know there was a movie. It starred Julia Roberts, some famous book. Not my thing. Anyway, first number, second number. So my point to you, Stephen, my point to you guys is this. There is some sense of importance to mathematics, and the truth is that when the Pythagoreans were exploring mathematics, they were exploring it as a tool to reason and to use logic, and they wanted to figure out what the purpose in life was. So they took math and they used it as a stepping stone to the next level of understanding. That's why they thought math was so important. Now, in this problem, we have one number and we have a second number. Now, I don't know what the first number is, so what should I call it? X. Okay. We used X before. I'm going to call it N. Then it says one number is 3 more than 4 times that other number. So how do I write 1 more than, 3 more than 4 times that number? 4n plus 3, very good. If you notice, it's more than, whenever it says less than or more than, we switch the order. 4 times goes to the front, 3 goes to the back. Last shall be first, first shall be last. Then it says the difference between these numbers is 36. Which of these numbers do you think is bigger, n or 4n plus 3? 4n plus 3. So I'm going to put that one first, minus the n, and I got to get 36. So I did the 3 more than 4 times a number. I did the difference is 36. Now notice the only thing left is to find the larger number. I noticed on your quizzes, not a lot of people cross stuff out. Crossing stuff out is very, very helpful. All right, so this is the same size situation with the 4n and the minus n. What's 4n minus n?
300.
3n plus 3 is 36 minus 3. 3n is 33. Divide by 3. N is 11. Am I done, Angela?
No.
No, because it says the larger number. This guy's 11. Max, what's the larger number? 4 times 11 is? Plus 3? 47. And if I subtract them, don't I get 36? So I know I did it right. Okay? So, word problems, word problems, word problems, the material that was on the old relearn packet, that's everything you need to know to do well on the upcoming test. So, if you notice, today says it's going to be a surgical intervention day. And what that means is this. Different people in this room need help with different things. So I'm going to try to break it up. And this is how we're going to break it up. Okay?
We have like 1 minute.
We're only 1 minute? 2? All right. Well, this is it. You have your choice. You can take out your relearn packet, work on a little bit, or you can work on some of these word problems right here, whichever you think you need more work with at the moment. Begin. Go.